happy day. It's Madison with Restorative. I hope this finds you having a lovely, lovely day. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I want to say again about Save Soil, hashtag Save Soil, and I want to share a couple things about that. You'll even see that Christina brought a really cool plant in here, and there's a bunch more in the corner as we're shifting things, and that's exciting. Change is always inevitable, and so are all the emotions that you grow through with change. So always be compassionate to yourself. And also know if you're slightly dramatic, it's okay. Just remember that when you're being that way with yourself, and love yourself about that. But Save Soil, I wanted to share a couple things because again, it's really important, and it's something that can be done, and we're all capable of something, even if it's just like your voice or your knowledge or your awareness or actions. And I'll tell you a couple of actions. First I'll go big, and then I'll go small, and then I'll go, how are you? Okay, ready? So I watched this amazing little documentary. It's like called The Biggest Little Farm, either Disney Plus or Netflix. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But basically, like 5 years ago, I don't know if it was 5 years ago, but yeah, something like that. They bought like 5 acres of land and converted it into really a sustainable little ecosystem of a farm. And the efforts and changes that they've put into it on their own, and then adding to what the universe, the earth, surroundings, and elements and nature co-created with them is a complete, overhaul of acreage. You've got it to where like things really, like the trees repopulated, reseeded the earth, the greenery, the produce, the foods, all these things. And then even the animals, right? So they had chickens, and then coyotes would come and get them. So then they get a dog, but they also had like a gopher problem. But the dog was guarding the chickens, so the coyotes started taking care of the gophers. Like just this whole like synchronicity, right? Of life, elements, nature, all of it, intention, action, blah, blah, blah. So that, right? Okay, so that's a really big deal. And the change, it's an adorable documentary. There's so much more to it, but that's just like the intention and so now this like acreage that they own is so lush and so giving and receiving from them and to its surroundings. So I love that. Now, saving soil and just creating life around you is not always super easy, but I'll say even this, my sweet neighbor, she has just got this amazing little hodgepodge garden-esque situation going in all spots that she can, kind of on the side of the house, in the backyard, whatever. She's got random pots, bigger tubs, and she's just gonna grow stuff. And it's so cool to see, right? Because when you plant something and you nurture it, and then you utilize the elements that are provided and all that love, and then it grows and flourishes, and sometimes it's a pretty flower or nutrients to eat, but all it is more life into the environment. So I wanted to share that because I think that's so cute how people can be so creative. Pinterest is so fun. Even just Google like, unique ways to have plants or grow stuff just around. And I even thought, and this is so great because I'm like, well, how could it be something that even if you didn't have any space, or even if you didn't want to plant something, or if you wanted to just kind of experience the taste of it, this is such a great idea. Grow chives. Chives is pretty much like, you could do it in like any little container. Chives is pretty much delicious flavored grass. And in essence, right? So you could grow it, and it would take just simple little bit of light and a little bit of space, and it'll grow, and you can just snip a little bit, sprinkle it on all your salads, Sprinkle it on anything. Potatoes doesn't have to be healthy. Put it on some cheese dots. But I'm just saying, like, that's just a one way to kind of experience something, and it's really a pretty foolproof little thing, like chives, green onions, stuff like that. If you're down south more, you could grow garlic chives. I've heard it's tricky here, but anyways, garlic chives are delicious because now you've got like onions and garlic mixed together. So you can look for something fun like that. Obviously, with anything, make it your own, make it work for you, make it feel good. That's what your whole being will do, and that's how you'll know you're in the right alignment with that. So of course, I'm still stuck on Save Soil. I think it's important and beautiful, and it's everywhere. It needs to be. Keep growing. Keep growing. And then I want to share I'm gonna do, I guess I've got 3 and 3s today, so I wanted to share a little bit about compassion for yourself, but also, yeah, just to really listen to the whispers around you before they turn into like screams you can't ignore. Now that, I'll say, physically, mentally, spiritually, relationships, to yourself, to others, seriously to yourself, I'll say too. I'll start off with me, then I'll move into something that happened, and then maybe something else, but okay. So let's start off with me. Now, I don't hide the fact that I was in an accident about 5 years ago. And so in the healing process with that, I've struggled a lot with my arm and my hand. Well, when you're healing and growing and you're trying and you notice things, you have to pay attention to the whispers of what that's telling you. So for instance, with me, I noticed a couple months ago, or a few months ago, that I was doing this subtle little thing that only you know when you know yourself that you're doing something different. And I noticed that because even though my left hand is the one, like the arm all the way down is injured, I still am left hand dominant, so I always grab for something, right? Well, what I noticed is that I would grab things with my left hand and immediately put it in my right hand. So now I noticed that, like, oh, okay, so like I'm still going for it, but it's just like a no, and then I'm just like, it's okay, I put it over here. So like, if you looked at me or you were just around me, that would never be something that you would be like, oh wow, like why do you do that, or something. Like, it even took me a minute to be like, oh wow, I'm doing that. Which said I needed to give a little more love and attention to this side, and then I was like, okay. Well, now in the last few weeks or so, I'm noticing that I have to literally put my hand behind my back like this when I'm doing stuff, because I keep grabbing things and then my arm doesn't like it. So now it's like a little bit of a scream, right? It's like, hey, I tried to tell you when I wasn't doing stuff, now I'm not doing stuff, and you have to pay attention. You see? Like, that's a whisper that turned into, well, it's always been whispering, but now it's like, okay, you have not been listening. And so now I have to really, really focus on what's going on. And it's so interesting when you think of how you feel and what you're doing and things and how it's going. And to really just go down like the arm of what's wrong. And it really starts at the head, then my shoulders. I have a riblet that sticks straight up. They said it's pretty much like a little spike that goes ding. So we got that started here. Of course, the shoulders. In this area right here, it feels like, I don't even know. Sometimes I think like it's dying from the inside. You get to the elbow, and it's like all the things, whatever tinnitus, arthritis, and blah, miserable elbowness is, you got that. Then where they moved the ulnar surgery that I had to correct the 2.5 inches of crushed nerve, down here, this whole nerve is moved. So this is like the entire funny bone, right? Don't get me started on wrist movement as well as the nerves that go to the fingers. So if you imagine, you know how dandelions, after they're dandelions and they turn into the wish flowers, whatever. whisper. Imagine these are the stems, and then when you get up here, this all like electric. Like this finger is like always in pain. So I have to focus. I have to focus before this is a way bigger scream, right? So that's how you have to focus on those situations, and listen and really nurture and then work on solutions, right? So that's like a physical, people have that all the time. I talked with somebody who had a stroke a while back, and hearing them tell me the way that, weeks before certain things were happening, I felt dizzy, I had to pull over, and then just some numbness and numbness in the arms and dropping stuff or what have you. And then like 3 weeks later, you're in full stroke mode. Now, I'm not saying that, be super alarmed and paranoid and worried about everything, but also listen to the whispers before, they become something different. Okay. So that's physical, that's wellness, things like that, right? Okay. So now, mental. This is not something that I'm excited to share or talk about, but it really happened, and this is just a very, 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 very prime example of if you don't listen to the whispers, you won't be able to ignore what that does. All right. So yesterday at about 5:20 a.m., this is just from the post I saw, the house right next to me, there was a gentleman, and this is all caught on footage. Other people have seen it. It's like the ring cam footage, right? Okay. They saw, so what happened was, a gentleman was walking around the street, and then the footage shows that this guy ran as fast as he could down the street directly into someone's front window. This is my neighbor, right? Into their front window, crashing through their living room at 5:20 a.m. Now, of course, the family was sleeping. And the gentleman was so distraught, and he kept saying he needed help. I need help. Something's not right. I need help. Their house, of course, glass everywhere. They have family, young kids. The trauma alone on that, just, the element of feeling safe in your home, those things, we don't have to get into that. So the trauma there alone for the unsuspecting family who did not even know this person. Once inside, of course now there's blood everywhere. I even saw pictures of that, which is traumatizing and disturbing and real things happening. Okay? So it's important to acknowledge when things are like, this is disturbing and real. Not, I saw this on TV, it's potentially real and disturbing, but I don't, okay, anywho. So this was real, this happened. Once inside, the person barricaded themselves in a room in the house. And I'm glad of that, to say, I'm not here to hurt anybody. I need to get myself to safety, and I'm not okay, and I need help. Of course, all of this is so sad because, anywho, for many reasons, obviously. I'm not alone in thinking that. Okay. So, of course, this gentleman is there. The family is alarmed, of course. This is all chaotic. And he's in there saying he needs help. These are certainly times to listen to the whispers in your being, and I don't mean like schizophrenic. I'm not even trying to make anybody feel weird or bad about that. And as a matter of fact, I talk to myself all the time. I tell myself affirmations. I am encouraging myself. It's not crazy to have conversations with yourself and your being. It's good to get it out. I'm saying, listen to the whispers of your being and your instincts and your feels and your intuition before you can't ignore them. I'm sure, I'm almost positive that wasn't the first time that person probably asked for help. I'm not saying anybody dropped the ball. Our stuff is our stuff. We have to listen to those things in our being. Don't feel like you're alone and you can't talk to people. And if you try to talk to people and they make you feel like you're that's not okay, or that you've done, or if they make you feel like the way you feel is not okay, it's okay. Keep talking, because what you'll find is that there's going to be some people that are like, yes, it's okay. As a matter of fact, we actually know how to help. Keep asking for help. Keep trying new things. I try new stuff all the time. I quit doing things all the time. I pick things up, drop them. As far as things that motivate me or inspire me or things that I do, I'm not really consistent. I actually don't even feel like I have the full capacity to just stay super consistent on all kinds of... Do you know how inconsistent I am? I have all these blankets. I literally fold them different all the time depending on the way I feel or the way I grabbed it. That they're not... Everything is so hodgepodge, but it works. That's you, that's us, that's all of us. That's what matters. So that story about what happened in my neighborhood yesterday, honestly, I just want to hug that kid. I don't know who he is or anything, but the way that we feel individually and collectively super matters. Super matters. Lastly, I'll leave with this because this has really been on my mind. I've talked before about energy and the way that you feel and like the rice. Now thank you. Yes. I'm good with this. Okay. I've talked before about the study of emotions and how our emotions and sounds and vibrations change things. I'll summarize this. Say 1 jar of rice. Say 3 jars of rice. First jar of rice, positive affirmations. I love you. You're so beautiful. La 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 la. 3rd jar of rice. You suck. You'll never do anything. Just negative. The 3rd jar of rice. You don't even talk to it. Just let it be. Over there. The 1st jar of rice, of course. Snowflake molecules. Amazing. Perfect energy. Growth. Vibrant rice. Be delicious. The 2nd, it wasn't great. Pretty sludgy, kind of looked like, definitely didn't have a bunch of, but there were still some white spots. That 3rd jar of rice that got no love, no attention, no nothing. Black mold, poisonous, blah, 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 all of that. Okay, we have that capacity within ourselves. How do we talk to ourselves? How do we treat ourselves? Do we ignore? Do we ignore things? Do we ignore things? Do we ignore things? Do we ignore things? I know that I isolate a lot personally. I think I need extra time to recharge. I don't know. It's definitely so I do feel sometimes that the people I love potentially could feel that I ignore them because I just spend so much time alone. But I'm trying to love myself and heal and be. And I know that I'm not alone because so many of us have to grow through things on our own to be a cup for others. So personally speaking, if you feel like I'm not giving you love or attention or time, or if you feel like you wish more from me, I love you. I'm giving all I can right now, but I need so much for me because I just do. And I accept that if that's how you are growing through your time right now, because it's tricky out there, and it's nice to breathe and be, if you can sometimes, and listen to your whispers that are screaming at you, and listen to your heart and stuff. So I just want to say that, because don't ignore yourself and let yourself get that way. And if you feel ignored from others, always remember rejection is protection. Sometimes if I'm growing through my own stuff and you're growing through your stuff, it doesn't make it better for me to be like, well, and my stuff, you know what I mean? And I know that. And you guys know that too. So we all have that beautiful balance between healing and growing through our own stuff and helping others and reclusing when we need time to breathe and be. So I want you to remember that, but also don't feel like that third jar of rice with yourself. Understand that some people will feel like they're a third jar of rice with you. I don't wish to anybody that to feel that way for me. Just set the intention and send love through your heart space, and they'll feel that too. I'm gonna go now. I love you so much. Remember, please, to save soil, grow something, maybe grow some chives. Listen to the whispers in your being before they are too loud to ignore. Please be somebody that you love to. Please be somebody that you love to. Be so compassionate with yourself and with others.